Today on the channel we're going to take a look at my Marshall DSL 100H amplifier. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at my Marshall DSL 100H amplifier. If any of you follow my channel or have seen my videos before, primarily my lessons, you'll see a bunch of tube amplifiers behind me in my YouTube room, which you're about to see, and I decided I'm going to start doing some more videos spotlighting my amplifiers. I get asked a lot of questions about my amps and how I get my tones, and honestly in YouTube I use my fractal system the most for my YouTube demos because it's easy. I use my tube amplifiers for live applications, and I blend amplifiers together, and I like to jam on them in the house, in the studio. I just use them for live purposes. I don't record with them much, but maybe I should. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. The Marshall 100H, in my opinion, is an awesome amplifier. This thing gets a lot of love and it gets a lot of hate online. Some people don't consider it a real Marshall because it's made in Vietnam, but this is a tube amplifier from knowledge, from memory, I guess. I think it takes 4 EL34s. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not an amp expert. I don't fix amps, I don't retube amps, I don't do anything with amplifiers. I just rock out on amplifiers, and I love tube amps, and I think they're going to make a resurgence. I'm probably going to be proven wrong in this, but I dig them. And in this video I'm going to show you some close-up views of the front and the back of this amplifier. I'm going to plug it in, give you a demo, and I'm going to show you what I like about this amp the most. It's got some weaknesses, some things I don't really like about it, but the one thing that it does tremendously, and I absolutely adore the way that it sounds. The 100H is different than the HR. The HR has a reverb channel that's really good, really nice reverb channel, and I believe it's MIDI controllable on the amplifier. I don't like all that junk, This is a more stripped down version. I think the DSL, which stands for Dual Super Lead, they came out around 97. They replaced the JCM 900. They're kind of like a JCM 2000. The H's are a little bit brighter and more Marshall-y sounding in my opinion than the HR, but that's just from my experience. I picked this baby up used for $475. You can get them used for around 500 bones from Guitar Center. Sweetwater I think's got them new for $829. If you're looking for a great Marshall tone and the look and the loudness, I recommend this amp, and if you blend it with another amplifier, it's just bang on money. If you put an overdrive pedal in front of it, it absolutely screams as well. So let's take a look at the front and the back of this thing up close, and then we'll plug it in and we'll do some sound tests, okay? Let's do it. Okay, so obviously this is the front of the amplifier. We've got our power on, we've got standby, the DSL logo, and we've got this reverb. And the reverb setting, you've got ultra and you've got classic reverbs. So when you're in the ultra mode on the amplifier, which is the super distortion, I guess, that's the reverb you would use, and then the classic. I don't use reverb a lot on my amplifiers, but if you're practicing a little bit, it's nice to have a little bit of reverb in the room. But recording and stuff, I use just plugins and reverb after the fact. But it does have reverb for both channels. We've got a resonance and presence adjustment, which is typical for a Marshall, okay? A tone shift button, bass, middle, treble, okay? This is your EQ section. So resonance, presence, bass, middle, treble, and then you can do a tone shift. Okay, ultra gain has got its own settings here for volume and gain, and then there's lead 1 and 2, this push button right here. So when you're in the ultra, if you're in the ultra zone, Steve, I would say, you've got, your lead 1 and 2 settings and your gain settings, okay? And then got that maxed out. All right, and then the classic gain, which to me is tremendous. This is AC/DC all day long. The gain on this, I always leave the gain on 10, and you can go, on this button here, you've got basically, your crunch mode, clean and crunch on that push button. Okay, so it's not just like a JCM 800 or 900. It's got push buttons and different things that some of the Marshall purists hate, but it's very versatile. It's not a ton of stuff to memorize. You just have to remember Ultra and then Classic. I stay in the Classic zone, and then I put pedals in front of it if I want to get into the Ultra zone. I'm just not a fan of this distortion, and I'll show you why in the studio, okay? Let's take a look at the back of it. All right, so the back of the amplifier, we've got two 8-ohm outputs for your loudspeakers and one 16-ohm output. These are red. I like the fact that they've got the red nuts around these, so you can actually, you know that that's, you know, in a gig, and if you're rushed, it's just nice to have things color coded. I know that may sound stupid, but I like that. The foot switch has a white nut around it. That's so you can control your channels with a foot switch. You can turn your effects loop on and off with this button. There's your send and your return. This is your label. It does say made in Vietnam, so just heads up, okay? And then you've got half power, which is a triode, and you've got full power, pentode. So you can go full power or half power. I've got it set at half power. Then on the back of it, you can see these tubes. There's our EL34s, I'm assuming. And, you know, take a look. Sorry for the camera here. It's going to wobble a little bit, but if I raise the camera up a little bit, you can see the interior of the amplifier, what that looks like. This particular amp was used when I bought it, and it performs perfectly. It doesn't have the little rubber feet on the bottom of it. Probably somebody squeezed it into a rack system or something like that. Oh, and it takes the standard Marshall power cable, obviously. Let's plug this beast in and put it through its paces. We'll check it out. All right, everybody, here we are in the studio. I've got the DSL 100 loaded up, ready to go. It's in my Friedman 412. The Friedman 412 has a greenback Celestion in it and vintage 30s. So I've got a Shure 57 on one, and I've got a condenser microphone on the other. So what we've got going in stereo is a vintage 30 and a greenback Celestion panned right and left. I'm probably going to add a little bit of reverb and delay on it just for fun, because that's the sound that I like, and to make it sound a little produced, okay? We're going to run through a couple things. I'm going to show you my favorite setting on this amp and get right to it. This is what I love this amp for and what I think it does best, in my opinion. Then I'll go through the clean, and I'll go through the ultra gain lead 1 and 2 settings with various EQ settings, so you can get an idea of what that sounds like. And at the very end, I'll run a overdrive distortion pedal through classic gain, so we can get a little bit more tonal options out of it, a little bit more high gain and aggressive tones. Okay, so let's check it out. I am running with my EVH Frankenstein Relic that I love so much. I've got the single coil engaged in this thing as well, so we're going to do mostly humbucker, but I'll show you some of the single coil tones as we go. So let's begin. We are on the classic gain channel. I've got the gain button pushed in, and I'm at full gain. We are set here with resonance and presence at midnight. The bass is at midnight. I've got the mids cranked quite a bit and treble up just a little bit past midnight, and volume set at about 2 o'clock. It's kind of loud, but you know, it's not like ear-crushing loud. You don't need to crank this amp on 10 to get the most out of it, okay? You do got to run it a little hot, a little bit loud, but nothing crazy. All right, so here is classic gain. As you can tell, there's not a lot of distortion. This would be kind of tough to play leads to, because you don't have a lot of compression in that high gain that we're used to in our modern amplifiers. But that's what the guys back in the day, the 70s and the 80s, they had this kind of a sound, and they would run, you know, distortion in front of it. But this is your true, in my opinion, your true tone that you want to capture on record for rhythm. It makes a great blending amplifier for blending this with another high gain amplifier. It will balance it out. You know, and for certain types of leads, this type of tone works great. It's very JCM 800 in my opinion. It's got really nice overtones. You can hear the clarity and the separation in the notes in the chords that you're playing, which I really, really like, okay? And with a single coil pickup engaged, I'll roll back a little bit. Okay, if I bring the resonance and the presence up, sounds really nice. Bring up the bass. Awesome, awesome. Let's bring this back to the way that I had it. I'm going to go to the clean. Now the clean is Marshall clean. It's kind of gritty. So this is what the clean sounds like. If I push the button on the classic gain channel, it takes it out of the crunch mode, and we've got clean. If I dial the gain back a little bit, so it does clean, but you know, Marshall's never really been known for their clean sounds anyway. I like to go, you know, all the way up on the gain if I'm in the clean channel. Not gonna lie, I like that, but I don't really use that very much. What I'll do is I'll go to crunch mode, put the gain all the way up, and then I'll just roll back on my guitar so the headroom of the amp is retained, like this. I'm old school. That's, you know, how we used to do it back in the day, right? So let's go to the ultra gain mode. There's lead 1 and there's lead 2. So we are on lead 1 right now. So the lead 1 sound is a little bit more high end than lead 2. There's not really any more gain. It's just, it's a little woofier on lead 2. So lead 2 is probably the most modern sounding, if you want to call it modern. I mean, it is kind of an old amp, but it's probably the highest gain and woofiest channel is lead 2 on ultra gain mode. But we're on ultra gain mode, lead 1. This is what this sounds like. All right, cool. Let's turn the gain back. That was gain full volume, so we'll go gain half volume. It still has that separation. It sounds really nice. I really do like it. But I like the Crunch Classic Gain channel just a little better. Bring the gain up about 3/4. Now let me add some bass and a little bit of resonance and presence on this, okay? So. Pretty cool. Now we're going to go ultra gain lead 2. Okay, so here's lead 2. Let me bring the bass and the resonance and presence back to midnight. And we're going to go half gain on lead 2. Full gain. All right, it starts to get flubby with full gain. As you can tell, hopefully you can tell over the recording, it's got a lot more boominess to it. So I'm going to turn the resonance and presence up, and we'll see how boomy it gets. I mean, it's kind of fun to use, you know, just to jam around on, but there's just really not a lot of definition in that setting. So I'm going to go back to classic gain just for reference. So classic gain, here's the one that I love. I just love the note separation in that. All right, so as promised, I'm going to run a distortion pedal. I've got this TC Electronics Steel Panther Pussy Melter pedal, you know, so I'm going to run this in front of it. I love this distortion pedal. It was one of the first ones I grabbed off the shelf, but this thing sounds great. I'm going to run it with the distortion and the bass and the volume set at midnight. I'm going to turn the treble, which is called the sizzle, I'm going to turn the treble back just a little bit at about 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock. We'll run this in front of it, and then we'll try different settings on it just to show you what you can get out of this classic gain channel, okay? So let's do that. All right, so we're back, and just like magic, I've got the Melter pedal ready to go, and somehow I managed to get this thing to rest right here perfectly for the video. So stuff like that never happens to me, and I'll take it, man. That's good. I'm on a good path for today. Anyways, the Pussy Melter pedal is loaded and ready to go. We're on classic gain with the gain all the way up. This is the tone, just to let you know what it sounds like. All right, let's turn on the melter. Woo, it's loud. Probably be a good idea to have a noise gate, okay? So let's check it out. All right, so what I did is I turned the gain down to about, it's about 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit above quarter volume. When I turn it off, it sounds like this. All right, on. Bring that bass down, treble up a little. Now this is in classic mode. This pedal has a classic mode, and that's what we're in. I like it when we put the dirty down all the way, and it just kind of acts sort of like a Rat Proco. If you've ever used a Rat in front of an amp, Nuno does that with the Extreme. He runs the Rat in front of it and turns the distortion off, and it gives a little bit more bite to the amp. So you can hear that attack. Turn it off. Man, that sounds good. I'll put it in boost mode just for kicks. See what that sounds like. All right, awesome, awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. I hope you like this video today on the DSL 100H. I'm trying something new. I'm thinking about doing some more videos on my amplifiers. I've got quite a few amps, you know, not a ton, but I've probably got 15 or 16 different types of amps that I use for blending purposes, recording, just for fun, to jam around the house, do gigs with. If you want to see more of my amps and stuff like this in the future, I'll be happy to run some more videos like this. I'm always looking for new content and things that'll interest everybody. I hope this was informative. I really truly believe for the money, for a tube Marshall, the DSL 100H or even the HR, you really can't beat it. These things run like, I've seen them for 500 bucks on eBay used. $829 I think is what Sweetwater has them at last I checked, unless that's an old listing. But I mean, if you're thinking about getting that classic Marshall sound, the Origin is okay, but this is such a better amplifier. It's a little more money, but not much. I would highly recommend it, and it's loud, it looks cool, it's full size, it's got the tubes in it, and it's really versatile. Anyways, please consider subscribing. Comment below, and as always, have a great day. Peace out.